Hey now YouTube, Hall here again. Today we're going to do a review of our recent stay at the North Beach Plantation Resort, which is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm going to be going off my notes here on my tablet to the right. I have a bunch of notes I want to go through, a bunch of things I want to cover. If you plan on staying there or you looked at that place in the past or you're looking at it for the future, I want to lay out a bunch of things for you, general layout of the entire resort. Items of note that you want to know that we didn't know almost up into going on the vacation. I kind of read through the facts and forums and found a bunch of things I had no idea about. Things that were great, things that were not so great. Our highlights of the week and overall rating out of 10. And then I have a really cool time-lapse video at the end of this review that I'll plug in at the end. It's a storm coming in. I time-lapsed it and increased the speed, so it's only, I don't know, it's a couple minutes long, but it starts from a sunny day, and then from the 19th floor of the resort, you can see a storm coming through and just absolutely crushing the resort. So it was actually pretty neat. So we'll roll the intro. We'll get into the rest of the review. All right, we're going to start the review off in the general layout of the entire resort. So it's a little bit different than anything I've been exposed to. So when you drive into the North Beach Plantation Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, you're actually going to start at the, I would say, the development space of the resort. So it's broken up into two main categories. You have like a development that has a bunch of townhouses and actual houses that have multiple bedrooms, and then at the very, very beachfront is the two condo towers with the large parking garage that go with that. So you actually come in from the side of the development and you have to drive all the way through the development to get to the beachfront condos. So it's a little bit different than anything I've been used to. I'm not sure if anybody else has been exposed to this, but so just realize it's two different locations. There is a development side, which is townhouses and condos. And then you have the two towers, which are all condos, and they're kind of in the shape of an L, that they kind of hug the pool section, and then they lead out to the ocean and the beach. The condo towers are considered beachfront properties, so they are right on the beach. They just have the pool that separates them between the beach. Beside the condos, right against the beach, if you're looking at the condos and the developments are behind you, to the right is kind of an inlet from the ocean. So the ocean actually comes in there. When there's high tide, there's a big break and there's a lot of water that you really can't trudge through because the tide is pretty heavy there. And it goes right into an inlet, which then feeds into a marsh, and you actually go over a bridge between the development and the condo beachfront. You go over a bridge that the marsh and the inlet goes underneath and feeds on the other side of the road. So there is an inlet that runs right along. It's kind of cool. There are signs for alligators and there is other wildlife like birds and stuff. Wasn't really bad with flies or anything like that. The mosquitoes weren't bad either when we were there. So I would have thought with the marsh being there, I was a little concerned with insect population, but we really didn't have any of those issues. So just a heads up there. It could be an issue. We didn't have anything like that. Inside the development area, there is a small shopping area. There's a coffee shop. There's a couple other kind of boutique type shops. So that's right in the center of the development area. And it's a pretty good hike away from the beachfront condos. So if you do want to go there, they do have shuttles running throughout the day. But if you are going to walk it, it'll probably take you about 10 minutes. And right in the center of town, or the center of the development as well, where the shops are, there is a restaurant, which is a 5-star restaurant as well. It's steak and seafood. And then there's also the spa there. So once again, if you're staying in the beachfront condos, to get to that center of town, you either can take the shuttle that runs throughout the day, or you can walk there, which is about 10 minutes. All right, the second part we're going to cover is the items of note. These are any ideas or things that I didn't know while we were getting set up with the reservation, or I had to dig into the website or the map or the frequently asked questions on the website to gain more information on these specific items. So first one is check-in location. The check-in location is located where the rest of the boutiques and the spa and the restaurant that we spoke about earlier are. They're in the center of the development. So if you are staying beachfront condos, it's not right underneath your condos and you take your elevator up to your room. You actually have to be at the location that's the center of the development, and then you have to go back to the condo area where you have to park your car in the multi-story garage. So just be aware that that same location in the center of development also has the gym and the fitness center. So with the boutiques, the restaurant, and the spa, you also have the gym out by the check-in area. Just a little bit different than what I've seen before. With the condos, I don't know about the developments because we didn't stay there, but we went down with family, so we had 2 separate rooms. Inside of the condo towers, there's rooms that are owned by the actual resort, and then there's rooms that are actually owned by private ownership or people who actually bought the condos. So with that comes the check-in process is a little bit different, which we had no idea until we got there. The room that I had, we rented it through the resort, and it was owned by the resort, so I was able to check in the center of the development. The other room with the family members we were with, they rented it through kind of like a third party because they rented it from an actual person who owned that condo. And they went to the check-in at the center of the development, and then they were told they had to go somewhere else. So they actually go to a different location, to like a rental office that they had Uber there, and it was kind of a bit of a mess, and had to go take care of the whole rental property and sign in sheets and get all that stuff at a totally different location. So know that going in, make sure you're being aware of which ones, if you are renting from the resort or if you are renting from an actual owner of the actual condo. Next point is there are absolutely no trailers on the premises. So if you are planning on bringing trailers down because you have extra luggage or plan on hauling anything like a golf cart, they have tons of those down there. That is not allowed on the premises. Nowhere, not even at the townhouses or the actual houses in development or the condos, no trailers anyway. That's also the same with motorcycles. There's absolutely no motorcycles on the premises. I did dig into the last question on the frequently asked questions on the website. So we had a friend that was going to go down that wanted to take his motorcycle. That wasn't allowed. So they actually ended up not going because there was no way around it. I even called the resort and asked specifically, and they said there's none on the premises. If you are staying in the beachfront condos, everything that you want or need is on the 3rd floor. So if you're staying in the condo towers, the 2 towers are connected at the 3rd floor. So there is a bridge that goes across on the 3rd floor. There is a bridge that goes from the 3rd floor to the parking garage. So that's your connection to the parking garage. So I would say if you get there, try to park on, I'm not sure if it's the 3rd or 4th level in the garage. You could call the resort and ask, but the level that connects with the bridge is where you want, because you can always just take all your luggage right out the bridge, use the carts, and go right up to that area instead of having to lug them up the elevator or anything like that. So that's super great. If you can get on the 3rd floor where you're staying, then you'll have easy access to all that. The cafe is also on the 3rd floor, and they have like a little boutique there. If you have anything like you're missing toothpaste or shaving cream or anything like that, is also on the 3rd floor. Next one is the bike rack to lock up your bikes is under the Indigo Tower. So if you're driving up to the condos and they're sitting in an L, on your left hand side closest to the garage would be the Indigo Tower, and the bike rack's underneath that, right next to the gigantic ice machine. The reason I say that is because we did rent bikes for the week, and it was actually a little tricky trying to find, and I even called the front desk, and the person I spoke to wasn't sure where the bike rack is. So it's under the Indigo Tower by the giant ice machine, and they have a rack there. I think it's like 3 racks, so there's plenty of space for lots of bikes. And there was a lot of bikes there. Last point in the items of note, if you're in a lower level room, so I would say anywhere from 2 through 4, you're going to be right above, no matter which tower you're in, you're going to be right above the pool area. So if you're into that, they play music all day long. I think the music ended at around 6, but they blasted for sure. It's very, it's by a pool. People are having a good time. There's a swim up bar. So the music's bumping pretty much all day. So if you're not into that, try to get in a higher level. They were going to put us on level 2, and I kind of did some research and knew about the pool area, and and how noisy it gets during the day. And if you like to be on your balcony and you want some privacy on the balcony, that's pretty much not going to happen when you're on a lower level of the condo. So if you don't want the music and you don't want to be, and you want some privacy on the deck during the day, you want to get a higher level, we were able to move up to a higher level, which was nice. And the whole experience turned out to be way better because of that. So those are the items of note. All right, let's move into things that I thought were great about staying at the resort. So first one right off the bat, just like all of real estate, is location, location, location. So where the resort is located is right across from Barefoot Landing. So if you know anything about North Myrtle Beach, Barefoot Landing is a huge hotspot for restaurants, for shopping. There's tons of candy stores and stuff to do for the kids. So they have, during the summer, they have fireworks, I believe, every night at 9 o'clock. So it's really good. It's a really good place to be. And it is literally right across the street. So when you come out of the resort, which is pretty gigantic, you come all the way out, you're right at the light, right across from Barefoot Landing. You can shoot right over across the street, or you can walk there. It's pretty great from a locational standpoint of being able to quickly get to dinner or shopping if you forgot anything, or just going shopping in general. The rooms. So our room was really nice, and the other room that we had for family members was really nice as well. They were spacious. They were clean. We stayed in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It was very nice when we walked in. The only thing about it that I didn't like is the decor was pretty dark for being a beach condo. I mean, they had dark floors, dark tile, dark countertops, dark cabinets. So there was just, stainless steel appliances, which brighten it up a little bit, but the decor was all pretty dark, but that's, it's not that big of a deal. We were close to the elevator. We actually were the room right off the elevator. And I thought that was going to be a huge issue, especially because with sleeping, the bedroom was at the door front that you walk in. So I thought I would have heard a lot of elevator noise. Didn't really wake up once from any of that situation. So it wasn't a big deal, which turned out to be great. The bathroom was nice and huge, big shower. There was a big tub in there as well, double sink. So that was really great. The bed was okay. Wouldn't say it was amazing. I wouldn't say it was terrible. It was somewhere in between. My side squeaked a little bit. My wife's side did not, but it was semi-comfortable. I wouldn't say it was amazing. The room was well equipped. They had a dishwasher. They had silverware and plates and dishes and everything. So we didn't have any issues there. And the room service actually brought a detergent for the dishwasher and also for your dish soap. And I believe they also provided laundry detergent as well. So just a heads up that they do give you one of those. And we didn't really use them every single day, so they just left it there until we were out and then brought it back. So in the bedroom, it is closest to the hallway, which is right in line with the entry door that you come in. There's a window in the bedroom that faces the hallway, but it has a blackout curtain. So you can have the curtain down, which is exactly what you want to do, obviously, if you're sleeping. But what was weird is they even had a window that was facing the hallway. I didn't understand that. It was a very, very ridiculous design. But just to note that there will be a bedroom. If you have a 1-bedroom, obviously it's the 1-bedroom, but there will be a bedroom that will have a window facing the hallway, from what I understand from the other rooms as well. So just a heads up on that. I thought that was a little strange. Our family stayed in a 4-bedroom. So we got to see a 1-bedroom, we got to see a 4-bedroom, huge kitchen, huge living area, huge dining room. All the bedrooms were fairly big, plenty of room for, 4 full families or whoever's coming with them. So the 4-bedroom was nice and big, and had amazing wraparound deck, which was really great. So it wrapped all the way around, had two separate sliding door locations. So that was really cool to see in the 4-bedroom. If you are going with a group of people, the 4 bedrooms were pretty amazing, and the wraparound deck was definitely worth it. So it was really neat. They also had a well-equipped, and they were on a corner room, so theirs was extremely quiet as well. So next thing that is super important is the elevators. The elevators were surprisingly efficient. So if you weren't paying attention, you didn't get through the doors. They were closing up quick. They do not waste a lot of time. They get in, they get out. They're pretty quick up and down. And for being 20 floors, I felt like I didn't have to wait for the elevator very often or very long. So that was really great. The pool area, we touched on this a little bit. The pool area had plenty of room, tons of chairs, multiple pools. You'll be able to see that in the time lapse. You can see how many pools they have. There was pools for kids, there was pools for adults, there was a swim up bar. So just lots going on with the music. There was food available also on the pool deck. You don't want to miss anything here. And in the kids focused pools, they had like slides and little things that the kids could play on. So the pool area was really great. It matched the resort that I had been on before, and some of the resorts that I've seen online. It seemed like they were going with that type of theme, like a Caribbean resort. So that was cool. The beach had 2 separate accesses. They had one that was straight out from the pool, and they had one that wrapped around like by the Indigo Tower, which would be the one on the left. So that was nice board decking. It wasn't beat up or anything like that. It looked like it was really well maintained. What was nice is they had a foot wash station. So when you're coming back in from the beach to wash off the sand, you would just step on it. It was pressure sensored. It would like hit like from the knee down and clean all the sand off your feet. And then they also had like hoses and showers there as well to kind of get everything else. But that was super convenient, and people were using them all the time. And the last thing, 2 more things. The shuttle, we did talk about the shuttle a little bit. There is a shuttle in the complex. There's a main shuttle that runs all day that will run you out to anywhere pretty much on the resort. So out towards the gym, the check-in, the restaurant, anything inside the resort premises, it'll pretty much take you there. There's another shuttle that starts at 3 p.m. every single day, and it's more of like a bus, not a shuttle bus, like a van, I would say. And that actually runs you over to Barefoot and back. So from 3 p.m. on, you don't have to get an Uber, you wouldn't have to walk all the way over to Barefoot. You can jump on the shuttle, you just call the front desk. All right, next we're going to get into the things that weren't so great about staying at North Beach Plantation. Like we talked about, the check-in location being out in the center of the development. It wasn't really a great location if you're staying in the towers. It was probably okay if you were staying in the development because it was close. But for check-in for the towers, it was weird that, at least I felt it was weird that you were in a completely separate location and then had to drive all the way back or walk all the way back, whatever you wanted to do. If you didn't drive out, then you kind of had to deal with that back and forth. So that was a little bit of an irritation. On check-in day, it was a bit dicey because that's kind of exactly the way it felt. So people were getting extremely frustrated on check-in day. The staff explained in the check-in location that there was 100% turnover for the resort. So what that means is every room was getting cleaned and turned over in all 20 floors of both towers. So the check-in starts at 4 p.m. For what I remember, I'm pretty sure it's 4 p.m. So everybody was pretty much there ready to check in at 4 p.m. that afternoon. Some people had been there earlier in the day, were hanging out at the pool or hanging out at the beach or drinking or whatever they were doing all day. And they were coming out to the check-in at 4 p.m. to get their keys. And then they thought they were just going to walk back, check in, and good to go. Well, that wasn't exactly the case. They were pretty far behind. I wouldn't say extremely behind because I think I got my keys around 4:30. I was only waiting for about half an hour to 45 minutes because I got there a little bit before 4. But people were getting a little bit ignorant, and it was a little dicey. So just know that the 4 p.m. is the start of check-in, is the way he explained it at the check-in office. That was kind of like their coverall. I get it. Everyone was busy. They were working as hard as they could. I really had no issue waiting around. I wasn't that frustrated. But there were some people there that was extremely frustrated. They were definitely getting a little argumentative with the staff, and it just was an uneasy situation. So know that going in. They say you can get early check-in if you get lucky. We did not get lucky. The people that we were with got extremely lucky. I think they were in by like 1 o'clock. So we hung out in their room, and then I just walked out to get to the check-in. So I wasn't really that upset. Maybe that's why I wasn't that upset. But just know that it's a total crapshoot whether you're gonna get your room early or not, and then try not to be frustrated with the staff because they're doing the best they can. Next, the pool music. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I thought it was extremely loud. but I'm also not into that scene very much. So other people might be totally into it. I'm sure if I was drinking at the pool bar, it probably would have been okay, but it seemed like some of the days it just kept getting louder and louder. So realize that if you're going to be in the pool area, if you're going to be anywhere near the speakers, which is kind of right around the area where you walk into the pool, it's pretty loud. They definitely they keep it going. Um, the hallways, this is weird to me. The hallways didn't seem to be air conditioned. So the room air conditioning was great. I didn't have any issues with that. But when you walked down to the hallways, it was just like stuffy. So I don't know if they kept the hallway air conditioning lower just to save on energy, which is probably the case. But realize that like when you're walking in your room or out of your room, it's like two different atmospheres. So it was a little bit strange. Um, and then the only other gripe, which we've touched on a couple other times, is the hike to the check-in area and the gym and everything else. It just seemed very segregated from the rest of the resort. It was obviously very accommodating, probably for the development individuals. Probably not all the development issues, because that was a pretty big space as well if you look at the map. But if you're staying in the beachfront condos, it was pretty much conveniently or definitely inconvenient for everyone staying in the towers. At least that was my thought. We're going to move right into the highlights of the week. So we went over 4th of July week. So if you've never been to Myrtle Beach at all during 4th of July, I've never been to the beach over 4th of July. It was insane at Myrtle Beach because there was just fireworks everywhere. So if you're into fireworks, Myrtle Beach is definitely one of the best places to be for the 4th of July. Where you stay at the North Beach Plantation, and the way they kind of have the L shape of their condo, because our family members were on a corner room when we were on their deck, you could see all the way down along Myrtle Beach, all the way to the boardwalk. So it kind of like makes like a curve. And the night of July 4th, the weather was kind of crappy. It was a little rainy, but I think there was like 7 different stations that were going off with fireworks all at the same time. So that was really, really cool. I've never seen anything like it. So there was fireworks right in front of us. And then down the beach, there was like 6 or 7 other locations you could see all the way down the beach as fireworks were going off. So that was really neat. And then the other cool thing about the resort is in the hallways, it's all glass outside the rooms facing Barefoot Landing. So I said before about Barefoot Landing having fireworks every night. They also have fireworks on July 4th. So if you go up into the higher levels, you can look out the hallway windows and watch the fireworks from Barefoot Landing right from the condo towers. That was really neat too. So just a little side note, if you are even there all summer and they are doing the fireworks every night at Barefoot Landing, I think it's at 9 p.m., realize that you can go higher in the condo and you can watch the fireworks without having to actually go over to Barefoot Landing, because it gets pretty crazy over there. Next is Trailblaze Adventure Bike Rentals. So I did talk about getting a bike rental and using the bike rack. We got ours from Trailblaze Adventure Bike Rentals, so shout out to them. It was a father and son, I believe, that owned the actual store. Just a small place. It's probably 10 blocks from North Beach Plantation, going north, I believe. And great place, great people, super nice. I believe I did my reservations online and then just went and showed them the email confirmation to pick up the bikes. Like I said, super friendly. The bikes we got were very well kept. Didn't feel dodgy. They looked fairly new. Not a lot of issues. I didn't have any issues with the bike mechanically, but they didn't look beat up at all. So the rentals were really great. They also had paddle boats there, golf carts, surfboards. They had a bunch of different stuff, and they had some cool gear as well for just surfing or fishing. They had some of that stuff as well. So just great quality bikes to rent if you're going down there in your North Beach Plantation or North Beach. For Myrtle Beach, definitely check out Trailblaze Adventure. They do bike rentals and a bunch of other stuff, like I said. The other thing that was a highlight of the week is Myrtle Beach. I want to make sure I get this right. Myrtle Beach Watersports. We did the jet ski dolphin tour. I'm actually going to have a video posted for that as well. I took my GoPro on that entire dolphin tour, which was about a little over 2 hours, I believe. So I cut up the footage obviously, and I'll be doing a video for that coming up pretty soon. But that whole adventure dolphin tour was really great. Never been on a jet ski dolphin tour before. So start off, the quality jet skis, they weren't beat up like the bike rentals. They didn't have a ton of hours on them, so you felt safe. They were strong. They responded really well, so that was great. The staff was all friendly and knowledgeable. When we got there, we went through the rules, went through the people on the dock. They talked about all the points, what to watch for, what to do when you're out there, what you can't do, what you can do. So that was very clear on that. And then once we actually got on the tour, our tour guide was extremely friendly. Took the time to kind of get around to talk to everyone as well, got to know them. Just really great establishment, seemed like a really great staff, and they all seemed like they liked their job as well. So that was great. The tour was over 2 hours, like I said. There was actual dolphin sightings. We saw them. You'll see that in my review video as well. After we did the dolphins and we got to see the dolphins in the ocean, we went over to like an inlet spot where the inlet was coming out and the ocean was going in, and they had lots of waves. So we were able to take some time, about 30 minutes jumping waves and just doing crazy stuff. It was a really good time. The travel in and out of the outlet, you got to see tons of beach houses, boats, all kinds of really cool stuff of just scenery of people living along the canal or the inlet, which was really nice. And then the other part of it, we got to go to a place called Bird Island on the way back, which is kind of like this little island where on July 4th, our tour guide told us a ton of boats come out from the inlet. They all kind of tie themselves together and they have a big party, and they party on Bird Island. So you'll see that in the video as well. Just really neat experience. Like I said, great staff, great tour guide, great machines. Life jackets were all new. Just everything was really, really nice. So that was also a great highlight. So overall rating out of 10, I would give North Beach Plantation Resort a 7.5. There was lots of stuff I really, really liked. Few things that were kind of annoyance to me, that it's not the cheapest place to stay. It's definitely nicer. They promote themselves as a resort because they have plenty of pools. They have food out by the pool. They have easy beach access at the high condos and also the development area. It's in a very unique spot that's along the inlet, so you don't have a lot of people right on top of you on the beach as well. So 7.5 overall. I really enjoyed it. I would go back there for sure. All right, those are all the points I wanted to cover about staying at the North Beach Plantation Resort in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you have any comments, or you've stayed there before, or you're looking to stay there in the future and you have any questions, just shoot them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you if I do know the answer. And if you have stayed there before, let me know what you liked and didn't like. We will end the video, like I did say, I have a nice time lapse of a storm coming in from the beach. It looks down on the resort. You can see Indigo Tower to the left. And then you can see the pools down below. So it shows kind of the different pool and the beach access, so you can kind of see all that. But really cool storm. It's only a few minutes long, but it gets really, really nasty pretty quickly. So I thought it was really neat. I'm glad I was able to capture it.